Good morning, students. I am going to start today the topic respiration. What do you mean by respiration? As in the last lesson, we have discussed about nutrition. All the digested food molecules from the small intestine goes to the different body cells and tissues, and where the glucose is broken down to give rise to the energy, and energy is used for the different functions. Respiration is the process of the breaking down of the glucose in the presence or absence of oxygen to produce the energy. Without energy, we are unable to do our work, and only during the process of respiration we can get energy. The respiration process is divided into the two parts, that is breathing and cellular respiration. Breathing is the process of the intake of the oxygen from outside and to expel carbon dioxide outside to the body. Once you have taken the air from outside, the oxygen goes from our lungs to all the body cells and tissues, where oxygen is used to oxidize, to break down the food, that is glucose, and energy is produced. We will discuss the whole process of breathing later on in the human respiratory system. But this definition which I have told you is actually about the cellular respiration. So, respiration is the process of the breaking down, or you can say the oxidation of glucose to produce energy. And the breaking down of glucose takes place whether in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. You can see here, I have written here the two equations. The first one is for aerobic respiration and the second one is for anaerobic respiration. The respiration is of mainly two types, that is aerobic respiration, and the second one is the anaerobic respiration. What is aerobic respiration? Aerobic respiration is the process of the breaking down of glucose. This is glucose, C6H12O6, glucose in the presence of oxygen. Here I have written presence of oxygen. You can see here oxygen to produce energy. And how many molecules of the ATP is produced? 38 ATP. This is the balanced chemical equation of the aerobic respiration. One molecule of glucose in the presence of oxygen gives rise to 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, and 38 ATP molecules. ATP is a high energetic molecule. ATP is the currency of the cell. Means whatsoever the energy is produced during the process of respiration, the energy is stored in the form of adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP. When oxygen is absent, then glucose gives rise to the ethyl alcohol plus carbon dioxide And one molecule of glucose gives rise to only how many ATP molecules? 2 ATP. So, in the presence of oxygen, the glucose gives rise to more energy, and in the absence of oxygen, glucose gives rise to only 2 ATP molecules. The process of aerobic respiration takes place in human beings, in animals, in plants, but mainly the process of anaerobic respiration takes place in the microorganisms such as bacteria, fungus, etc. Sometimes we also perform the anaerobic respiration, and due to the process of anaerobic respiration, the lactic acid is produced inside our muscular cell. Now, you can see here the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. You can write in the tabular form. One side you please note down aerobic respiration, and here note down anaerobic respiration. The first one, aerobic respiration, please note down, it takes place in the presence of oxygen. Here write down, it takes place in the absence of oxygen. Second, glucose is completely broken down. Glucose is incompletely broken down. Third, you can note down one molecule of glucose produces 38 ATP, and here one molecule of glucose produces only 2 ATP molecules. Next, carbon dioxide, water and energy are produced. Here you can note down ethyl alcohol and ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide and only 2 ATP molecules are produced. Examples you can note down here: plants and animals. Here you can note down microorganisms such as bacteria, yeast, etc. So please, you learn the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Once again you can see here, aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic respiration, it occurs, or you can say it takes place in the absence of oxygen. In aerobic respiration, the food, that is glucose, is completely broken down, is completely oxidized. Whenever oxygen is there, the food is completely broken down, and when oxygen is absent, the glucose is incompletely, partially broken down, incompletely oxidized. The third one, when the glucose molecule is completely oxidized, or you can say it's broken down, one molecule of glucose gives rise to 38 ATP molecules. It means more energy is produced in the presence of oxygen in aerobic respiration, and when oxygen is absent, one molecule of glucose gives rise to only 2 ATP molecules. Means less energy is produced in anaerobic respiration. When glucose is completely broken down, the glucose gives rise to carbon dioxide, water, and I told you 38 ATP means energy produced, and when oxygen is absent, the glucose gives rise to ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide, and one molecule of glucose gives rise to 2 ATP molecules. Aerobic respiration takes place in plants, animals, as well as in human being. But mainly the process of anaerobic respiration takes place in microorganisms such as bacteria, yeast, etc. And I have also taught you that sometimes the human being also performs anaerobic respiration. When we need more energy, we also respire anaerobically, and lactic acid is produced, and because of the lactic acid accumulated inside our muscle cells, there is a cramps in our muscles, we feel fatigue, and this is the reason of the fatigueness in human being. Now, the next topic is the breaking down of the glucose through the different pathways. This diagram is regarding the breaking down of the glucose by various pathways. The glucose, as I told you, glucose is broken down to give rise to the energy. But breaking down of the glucose into the energy, carbon dioxide, water, it's not a single step process. So many steps are there. It's a very time taking process, and so many steps are included. These steps are glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport system. It's very broad topic that how glucose is going to be broken down to give rise to the energy. The details are given in class 11 bio, but here a brief introduction is given in class 10. that how glucose is going to be broken down in the presence, either in the absence of oxygen. You can see here, this one is the glucose molecule, and glucose is broken down first of all into the pyruvate, or you can say pyruvic acid. The glucose, which is a compound containing 6 carbon, and it is going to be converted into a 3 carbon molecule compound that is called pyruvate. And this step is also known as glycolysis, not given in your NCERT book, but this step is known as glycolysis. So glycolysis is the process of the conversion of glucose into the pyruvate, or you can say pyruvic acid. And this step is common, which takes place in aerobic as well as in anaerobic conditions both. This is the common step, and it's very, very important you have to learn this step occurs in the cell cytoplasm. So I have written here in cytoplasm. So once again you can see here the first step of the breaking down of the glucose is the conversion of glucose into the pyruvic acid, and this process is also known as glycolysis, which takes place in the cell cytoplasm. Now, the further oxidation of the pyruvate, or you can say pyruvic acid, depends whether oxygen is present or oxygen is absent. You can see here, if the pyruvic acid, if oxygen is present if oxygen is absent, in absence of oxygen in each cell, the pyruvate is further broken down into the ethanol, that is ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy. Here 2 ATP molecules are produced. In absence of oxygen in each cell, the pyruvate is broken down into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Now second, in the absence of oxygen, in lack of oxygen in human muscle cells, the pyruvate is broken down into the lactic acid and energy. And because of this lactic acid, we feel fatigueness, we tired because of the accumulation of the lactic acid in the muscular cell. But after some time, when we relax, the lactic acid is further broken down into the glucose, and glucose gives us energy for doing work. The pyruvate is broken down into carbon dioxide, water and energy in mitochondria in presence of oxygen. You can see here CO2, water and energy, these all are produced in the presence of oxygen inside the mitochondria. This is the complete breaking down of the glucose. So here 3 conditions are there. Once again you can see the first step, the process of the conversion of glucose into the pyruvate. This is the common step, occurs in aerobic as well as in anaerobic conditions both. Further breaking down of the pyruvate depends upon whether oxygen is present or absent. In absence of oxygen in each cell, what are produced? Ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. In absence of oxygen in our muscular cells, lactic acid is produced, energy is also produced, and in the presence of oxygen, the pyruvate is further broken down into the carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Here, more energy is produced, and this step occurs where? Inside the mitochondria. So, these all are the steps that how glucose molecule is going to be broken down into the different. You please note down some of the assignments related to the topic which I have taught today. Question number 1. Write the balanced chemical equation of respiration. Aerobic respiration. Write the balanced chemical equation of aerobic respiration. Question number 2. Differentiate between aerobic and aerobic respiration. In bracket you can note down any 5 you have to write. Question number 3. Explain the various pathways of breaking down of glucose. Explain the various pathways of breaking down of glucose with the help of flow chart, means diagram. Question number 4. Write the product of an aerobic respiration. Next, name the step which is common in aerobic and anaerobic conditions both. So these all are from the topic aerobic and anaerobic respiration. These questions you have to complete in your fair copy. Tomorrow I will teach you about the human respiratory system, breathing. I will explain you that how our lungs are designed to maximize the exchange of gases, how the process of breathing takes place, how the gases are transported from our respiratory system to the body cells and from body cells to our respiratory system. But I request you all to complete at least the questions which I am giving you from here. and whenever you will come back to the school, I will check your notebook. I will ensure whether all these questions you are completing, you are doing properly or not. Thanks a lot.